Jocelyn and Stephen's flush mount album just arrived in the studio today, and it's a brushed metal cover with a full leather binding, and it has a really wonderful construction. The pages are nice and rigid, which we'll see in a minute, and the binding is just all hand constructed and really well done. So when we open up the first cover, we actually have inside pages that are a satin finish, and on the first photo for the cover, we have it sided with a simple black page, just so that we set that one feature image off really well. When we open up to the first spread, we finally get to see how this book is laid out. We get a simple seam down the center, which allows the pages to lay completely flat. And as we can see, these pages are really nice and rigid. They're not like a simple coffee table book. And they're also much more rigid than the seamless book. So we'll give you a little bit of an idea of Josie and Stephen's storyline here. We started with Josie at Manteo Resort and did some beautiful glamour photos, as well as with her bridesmaids getting ready. Then we went down to the waterfront of Manteo and did some pictures of the girls. Backlit by the sun, looks gorgeous with beautiful light in their faces. We also did more beautiful photos of Josie down on the waterfront, both at the beach and on the wharf. And we were lucky enough to have Simone Wittenberg be the second photographer on this shoot, which is another local Kelowna photographer. And she started with Stephen at the Harvest and did both some candids as well as character portraits, and even a couple guys groups. This one is just sort of an edgy guys group that looks really well done. At the same time, as soon as the girls arrived at the Harvest, I was photographing them preparing for the ceremony. And during the procession, obviously everything was covered perfectly with two photographers, but in this case we had a full location shot, as well as details of her walking with her father and some touching moments within them. On the next page, Josie and Stephen chose to have a few select images from the ceremony that really showed their emotion and also how the ceremony felt for them, what they wanted to remember. And there's the kiss and the signing, but this was actually one of my favorite parts. Immediately after the ceremony, Josie and Stephen just ran across the green and down to the waterfront, where they just had an impromptu kiss, and it was just so simple and sweet. There's Bella. Yes, she wants to be pet. Lie down. Good girl. Away from the book. Go lie down. So the family groups, Josie and Stephen decided to keep within their book, to definitely include their family featured in the book. Some couples decide to keep it more of an editorial book and just do more of a journalistic and fashion type of coverage. And then we do go on into the wedding party and couples portraits, everything mixed from completely candid photojournalistic shots through details and group shots. The guys were really wacky and fun on the wedding day, so we definitely had to capture their characters there. We had a little bit more of a formal group, but still approached in a very modern way, and we spread it across two spreads just to get it featured really large. Now we have some of the more romantic images for Josie and Stephen, and we did it in the orchards using these beautiful old fruit packing boxes, and just covered it from every angle just to really get a feeling of how they felt and their emotion on that day. And I really like this image myself, just for the reason that it feels a little bit like a Victorian postcard, and just is unique in that way, and was able to show off her gown and the location with the apple trees. The last couple groups of the wedding party, one in the middle of the golf course and one over the waterfall. And just before the reception, we had a last couple images of Josie and Stephen as they were walking around the lagoon and down to their reception location. And we were only there for about 15 minutes for the reception, but it just gave us the opportunity to capture them entering as well as some decor. And they just wanted one spread to give a little bit of a feeling of how the reception was for their night. And I always try to end the album in one just strong and emotive couple's portrait. And the book ends with the same satin finish in the back 2 pages. And there's just some simple care instructions since Josie and Stephen have not yet seen the album. And we'll be meeting with them in a couple days, and I'm sure they're going to be excited to review it.